opening it up. We gotta take the right steps. Let's get some smoke. So we're doing an inspection this week. We've got Nels and his daughter Grace. They've suited up, and we're gonna open this sucker up. So that just lets them know that I'm here.
Knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Okay. And we just let the smoke kind of do its thing for a minute here.
I've seen this on TV. It's interesting watching it from the other side.
Slow movement
Yeah.
now, slow movement.
Okay, here we go.
No big
Just
hand
gonna lift
gestures.
this cover off. I am going to place this
Wow.
right here.
What does it look like, Dad?
It's full of bees.
Oh yeah,
They're going for it.
they've got they've done a lot this week. Well, let's crack this. Well, the first thing I have to do is I gotta start.
So, can I ask you a stupid question with this tool? Watching you do this online, like, are the frames stick together, or are they making the frames stick together?
They're making the frames stick together. So I'm gonna just see if this is.
Because it's a very satisfying when you twist it and they come apart. It's a cool. Good heavens!
That is heavy. They are doing a lot.
They are going for it.
Okay.
And is this just? Is there one kind of honeybee, or are there different honeybees?
There are different types of honeybees. These are Italian.
They look Italian. I was gonna say.
They were bred in Italy,
Italian vibe.
and these are really gentle bees, and so that's why most people use Italian honeybees.
But they do get a little mad.
They're not very.
They get
aggressive.
mad sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just pull this. You see all that sticky stuff?
Yeah. So
Yes.
they're secreting.
They're
That's
secreting all that. Oh, they found finally found the last frame.
so these other 9 are all filled up.
Pretty much. So you see, you give them this black stuff, which is a plastic foundation that is already kind of got that honeycomb pattern on it.
Yeah.
And then they come and they start building their they start drawing out their wax honeycomb on top of that. And
So they'll build up.
they'll build up. You'll see here. When I flip this over, you'll see they're gonna
And
see
you.
that.
Whoa. And will they go off of both sides?
Yep, they'll do both sides. So this right here,
Those are full of pupa.
no, that's honey.
That's
capped
honey in there.
There's no brood, there's no larva here. This is honey, and they've capped that. And this open stuff right here, that's nectar that they're converting into honey. And eventually,
And then when it's full, they cap
They
it.
cap
and
it.
Okay.
and that becomes their storage. But the queen isn't on that
And then
one.
when they need it, they'll just crack those open and
Yep.
start.
It's their food.
Well,
It's amazing.
when they put like the comb in the wrong place, Dad has to get it
Yeah.
out.
Okay,
and
what
he's
did you call
making
that? That has a
collection.
Bird comb.
burr comb.
And we'll probably see, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some.
He's
pieces of
actually
that
making
today.
a collection if you want to see it.
He's making gum.
Oh man, they are really going good.
Holy mackerel!
Whoa!
Now look, okay, so right off there's a drone here. So there are several types
Where are
of
the
bees.
drones?
Let me this is so heavy. Let me put it down here. Okay. So if you look, there's a drone right there. See how he's bigger?
Uh huh.
And his eyes wrap around the top of his head.
And what's he doing down here?
Just living.
Just digging it.
They don't do anything.
Okay.
They exist.
It's a pretty good gig.
Okay.
Whoa!
Solely in the hope that they can mate with the queen.
Sure.
Okay. So this is all capped honey.
What makes it turn yellow?
Well,
That's just as the wax gets older, it turns yellow. When they first lay it down,
it's white.
it's nice and white. This right here, that's capped brood. So those are pupa, within the next week, those are going to hatch and new bees will come out.
Wait, can I see that?
So, yeah,
Not since I have my glasses.
right there.
Those little,
So,
like,
Other than,
circle
so
round
is the
things.
color, what, as you can tell, capped honey versus brood?
Go, go.
Okay, so these yellow ones are brood.
That's brood. And this white, nice.
But that will turn yellow eventually?
What will?
The capped honey?
No, that'll just
Okay,
stay looking
gotcha.
like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then down in there, okay, if you look down in there, so if you look here, those little darker ones, that's full of pollen. And that's their protein source. So they have their carbohydrate, which is their nectar and sugar, but then their protein is the pollen that they bring back.
The queen bee lays lots of
So-
eggs.
Now, this
almost
is
said
a stupid
bugs.
question. Does she go around each of these brood things and lay an egg, or does she lay the eggs in a central place and they're brought?
No, she walks all
She
over.
walks all over. Okay.
And she'll deposit an egg in each one where she, they're not all. Okay, so there we go. There, it's
Did you
getting
find the
sticky.
queen, Brenton?
No, we haven't found the queen yet.
You'll have to show these guys.
So this is brood. Here.
Yeah, that's brood down there.
And they just look like it's kind of random. We'll cap some honey up here,
Yeah.
and we'll.
Yeah. Well, the honey, they keep their honey in the top of the frame.
Okay, so it's always up above.
Around there. Yeah. So that's where you'll expect to find honey.
Mom,
And then so that's
Dad?
all pollen and everything in there.
Dad, I can say they're
Now
mad.
these right here, you see how they're sticking out further?
Mm-hmm.
Those are drone cells.
The
So
louder,
a drone's going to come out
the
of
louder
that.
they buzz.
So, and again, I always kind of thought they
madder they
go
are.
through, but they come to get from, what do they call it, cell to cell, they go up and over and down. In.
Right. Yeah, so the bottom, there's a gap in the bottom, and there are gaps in between all the frames. So they can crawl up in between the frames, and then they can go down and up, or they can come
And
up
then they
around the
build
top.
out on both sides.
Yeah.
Of the thing. Oh, it's just amazing.
Build out on both sides of the frame. Now what I'm thinking is happening is, I'm not seeing as much brood here. Okay, this is cool.
That's
Now, if you look down in here, I've got a lot of drone cells,
Yeah, I see
which
'em.
really isn't the greatest, but
so they're big,
they're big, like right
like
here.
right in the middle there, like
Yeah.
those guys.
And if you
Yeah,
look down,
see?
those haven't been fully capped yet. If you look inside, you'll see the larva. It looks like a little white shrimp.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Can I see?
That's so cool.
If you look down inside, I've got to get a good grip on this without getting myself stung or anybody hurt. Okay, if you look down inside those little holes, do you see the little white thing that's curled up in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little baby bee, a little larva. And I've got good honey on that one.
So that in the corner there where it's really out, those are going to be drones.
Yeah. And then,
It's just they're that much larger. Is that
Mhm. yep.
Dad, kids have to work.
And those are the only males in the colony.
Yeah.
Everybody else is female.
Too.
Let me see. So what I think is happening is there's not as much brood, and they've got a lot more honey than they have in the past on this bottom box. The queen is moving the brood up into the second hive body, and that's what they normally do. Eventually, this will become a storage, pretty much just storage down here, and then the baby bees will be coming out of
Up here.
that one.
And then the third box is
Let's
where
see.
they have the surplus honey.
Right. This is cool. See, they're sticking their heads down in there.
Yeah.
He's probably making, she is in the process of making honey. Do you know what honey is?
Isn't it
It's
like,
nectar that's been digested by
yeah,
bees, isn't
and
it?
spit back out.
Spit back out
Yeah.
from bee to bee. They basically regurgitate the nectar to each other,
Oh.
and eventually they'll regurgitate it into the cell. And so honey is bee vomit that's been regurgitated multiple times.
That is amazing.
Out of the way there. I don't want to squish you guys. Come
Hi,
on.
Coco.
There we go. Okay, they're getting a little
Aggressive.
rowdy.
Yeah.
So let's get. Put them back down. There we go. Still haven't seen the queen, but we'll get her.
Dad, they're mad.
Yeah, it's okay. You'd be mad too if I ripped the roof off of your house.
Again.
Every week.
Every week, this guy.
Yeah, this is all, they're gonna make this all into honey.
So once you get the third one, it would be more.
Okay, there's more brood there.
And there's no like, what's the curing time for honey or whatever. When they put it in, it's honey. It's not like it has to
Right, once,
cure or brew in there or whatever.
once they cap it off, it's done.
Ready to eat. So obviously they're going to work through the summer, and
Yep.
the more flowers, the better. So in the fall, that's when the honey's ready to be harvested.
It really depends from what I've read on how much nectar there is. Sometimes you can get a summer nectar flow, and so you'll get summer honey.
So Dad, the only bees that don't have like these houses, do they build like those actual nests that like
Yeah,
wasps
they
build
do.
if
They
they're
build
free?
their own hives inside dead trees. Oh, look. That one, that's cool.
That's cool because yesterday we saw like a wasp's nest and it had a wasp on it.
Okay.
Really?
It's just
So
funny.
Dad's
You can see
killed
them
it.
all tucked, like right there.
Mm.
The bee is
Has,
all the
like,
way down into the
styrofoam
cell,
stuff.
Yeah, they're just.
head first.
It's just
I got,
amazing that
A shot.
those cells are all. I don't know. Maybe they're not identical. They sure.
They are. I mean,
Are you allergic
and
to wasps?
they don't need that
No.
foundation.
That was just a separate.
They, when
It
they
just speeds probably the
it just
process
speeds
up.
everything up.
allergic to pollen.
They when they build it
That
on
an
them by
allergy
themselves, it's amazing.
Hi, Coco. Does that?
That may be the beginning of a queen cell. And that's not what we want. Because if you get multiple queens, you
It's
swarm.
not a happy.
It swarms, and then you lose half of your hive.
So what would you do?
You cut it out. And the cool thing is, the other thing I'm looking for is they get these mites, which were introduced back in the 60s from Europe. And that's one of the big problems with beehives now, is these mite infestations that kill the bees. And the mites, if we were the size of the bee, the mite, it would be the size of like a bowling ball, and they attach and basically eat into the side of the bee. So that's one thing I'm looking for. Ugh, it is getting sticky. Okay, so this is all
honey.
you can see, and you see that's a lot newer.
Dad,
comb.
can I
It's
see?
all
Can
white.
I see? Can I
Yeah.
see? Can I see? Daddy?
You want to see it?
Ha 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 ha.
Pretty cool, huh?
Is there larva?
I haven't seen many larvae. We've seen some capped brood. I'm expecting that when we go into this second box, we're going to see larvae.
And also queen bee.
And the queen bee. I'm guessing she's up in the second.
That's brand new.
Haven't
They're
really-
just getting going on that.
Yeah, because what they do is they work from the inside out.
That's weird. There's only a bit
Okay,
and
girls.
a bunch more.
We'll get you down.
I do not like to smell smoke.
Now I got to get you all pushed back into place. That's getting so sticky.
So it's going to be hard to move, Dad.
And the thing is, if they have if they have more than like 3/8 of an inch, they fill it up with comb.
So you gotta.
So you got to make sure that your gaps aren't too big and.
Oh, I was gonna say, that seems like a big kid.
This one back here. Okay. I think I just heard somebody getting squished.
There we go. We got lots of these.
Okay, so that one's good. Get you guys out of the way again. I'll put a second hive on. Oh, crud, that's heavy.
So what's amazing is they're just like freestanding on top
Yeah.
of each other.
They don't interlock. They're just freestanding, and then the bees glue them together. They make honey. See, and I'm covered with this stuff called propolis right now. They
Is
make
that like pre-wax stuff?
it's just this glue that they make, and they glue everything together. And
So this is obviously newer. There's a lot less. Sticky and
See, they haven't even gotten really to that one yet. So we'll just do the same thing. I'm gonna put that one over here, so I have a little bit more room. Okay. So they're still
starting
working
up
on it.
there. The other side's a lot more going on.
Yep. No mics.
How do they? What is the wax? They're just secreting something.
They,
or-
the youngest bees make wax. They have special glands underneath.
So they're
their
not
arms.
chewing something up like a wasp, though,
No.
like a paper wasp.
They actually secrete it. Their bodies create it. But when they get, I can't remember how old they have to be, but once they get to a certain age, those glands stop working.
and they move on to
They move on to a different job.
pollen collection or whatever.
Yeah. So they'll all the bees start out working in the hive and not leaving, and they take care. They're nurse bees, and they take care of the newly hatched, and they take care of the larvae and whatnot. And then when they get to a certain age, they differentiate and they become guard bees. And then once they get to a certain age, then they become field workers,
Interesting.
and they live 6 to 8 weeks.
And you have to type out all those tiny letters to tell them you're being
Exactly.
transferred to
Yep.
collection.
And the one that I hate is the pink slip.
Oh, yeah.
Not for situation.
Oh, so that's Burcombe there.
That's Burcombe. Ooh, and guess what? We're gonna get to taste some honey.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got to cut this out. Because this comb right here, this Burcombe,
Why? I'm just curious why they deviate like that.
just because there's probably too much of a space, and they're gonna fill it up. So we'll just put this over here.
And they'll
They'll
climb
eventually
off.
leave it up alone. Just gonna clean that up.
They're like, do you have any idea how long that took us to make?
Yeah.
It's like 3 inches.
I was watching a video though of a guy who was saying his first year he didn't do that, and the hive basically became unworkable. It got so glued
So
together
crazy and yeah.
that he could not break it apart. He couldn't do anything. Yeah,
Settle down, everybody.
get down so I don't smush you. There you go.
It's 38. Yeah, it's 38.
I'm hoping to see the queen here.
More Burcombe there
Wait,
in the back.
Okay, yeah, so we're starting to see larvae. If you look right here in there,
Yeah.
see those little white shrimpy
Yeah.
things? And eventually they'll cap that off once it hits a certain age.
So
And
they,
then those
they
grow.
leave it open and feed them, and
Yep.
then at a certain point they just.
Okay, it's time for you to grow up by yourself. And so yeah, I've got to get rid of that little piece. We got some more capped brood, and they're making honey up here. So it's just
Grace.
It's just amazing. So So when you collect honey off of your box, you take the wax and you separate out the. You take it down to basically nothing, right?
No, what you have is, and I haven't ever used the tool yet, but I have it. It's a heated knife.
Yeah.
And you run it across the very top, and it just gently cuts off the top of the wax.
Okay, so you leave the wax so you can reuse that.
Yeah, so that they can keep using it.
They don't have to keep building.
And so you don't lose the time of them having to build that again.
Gotcha.
And you put that, after you cut off that top, you put it in a centrifugal separator, and you spin it, and the honey comes out, and then you can just take that frame and put it back in your box.
Okay. But so it still has the bulk of the cells there.
Yeah.
So then they can just add to it instead of having to start over.
Instead of having to start from scratch.
So when you see like beeswax candles,
That's what it is. It's the capping.
it's just that capping.
Yeah, and that's one thing. It's when you're doing this, you keep that stuff.
Okay.
You keep it. So yeah, so lots of capped brood there. Oh look, this is good. This is cool. You look right up in here, lots of little larvae.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
They're only a mother would love.
Yeah.
They're not beautiful children.
No, they're not. They're definitely.
They're loyal though.
They are loyal.
You never get rid of them.
If you're that
though.
ugly, you'd be loyal too. Where else are you gonna go?
I mean, the mom is like, they never leave. They just keep building on our house.
Okay, come on. Where are you, Queen? So that's a great. Yeah, this is turning into the brood box.
See, those are drones there.
Those are drones down there. And there's lots of little glistening larvae up there.
How long does a queen bee live?
Up there. The queen bees actually can live several years.
Okay.
And when they pass away,
You just
They-
get
a new one will just.
They sense that when the queen starts getting less robust and her health is deteriorating, they'll start feeding royal jelly
To
to
just
one of the larvae.
and yeah.
And
So
she
there's not a
becomes-
specific bee. It's just who's given the royal jelly.
Yep.
Becomes the queen.
Yep. And that's another thing that the bees secrete. So they make propolis, they make honey, they make wax, they make royal jelly.
So does everybody is everybody able to secrete the royal jelly?
Yeah. All of the worker bees, from what I've
And
read.
it's just amazing is how do they decide, okay, this is the one.
This is the one, yeah.
And let's now we're not doing that one, we're doing this one.
I haven't seen the queen yet, but she may. I haven't. There've been a couple times I haven't seen her because she moves around, and so she may now be down in the bottom box. But we'll see. Let's keep.
And
our
how
fingers
much
crossed.
bigger is she than just a regular bee?
She's significantly bigger.
bigger than a drone, obviously.
Yeah. And she's marked. She's got a little white dot on her back. That the people that I bought her from put on. And the other thing I'm not seeing are eggs. But we do have a lot of brood, so I guess I shouldn't be too worried. I did not see the queen, and I think we're not going to now.
So you said the hive started with 10,000 bees.
Yeah.
How many do you anticipate are here now?
By the end of the season, should be around 50 to 60,000.
And how, like, is there a certain point where you need to get another set?
No,
Or, like, how much can they
hopefully,
hold?
if they're healthy enough, by the end of the year when winter comes, then I will be able to get them to survive through the winter. And come next year, they'll be back down to about 10,000 at the beginning.
Yeah,
of
so they're
spring.
just sort of self-regulating. They'll
Mhm.
just, through natural attrition, they
Yep.
will just. So we have a neighbor who has, I don't know, 7 or 8 hives.
Uh-huh.
Those are all different colonies. They're not
Yeah.
like, they don't go from
No.
house to house. They're
No.
all distinct,
Exactly.
and they know which one's
But the
theirs.
stacking is one hive.
This
Yeah.
is one. This is
Three,
one.
three
hive.
boxes is a full hive.
Yeah, one colony. Well, I didn't see the queen, but doesn't mean she's not there. I did see lots of pupa and larvae, so that means she is laying, and she was here within the last few days. So I'm not worried. We'll just have to hope we can see her next week. I'm bummed out though. The queen's really cool to see.
Well, the whole thing is just completely fascinating.
Now let's see if she's up in here. Oh.
Does she wait up there?
Sometime, I guess. Yeah, she can move wherever she wants in the hive. So she could get up there if she wanted to.
So, and this will slot us so they can go out and around.
They can go out. It also gives ventilation to cool the hive. Because if it gets too
But that's
hot,
not the entrance to
no. I'll show you. Yeah, we'll have you come around. You can get a peek over here, and you can see the entrance. But you want to, if the hive gets too hot inside, you might lose them. They might swarm and leave. So it's space and heat.
And they'll cool it. Don't they cool it if they need? I've heard they flap and
they can fan. And then the other thing that they do is, if it gets really hot inside and they need to like really cool down, they will just come out and cover the front of the hive. It's called bearding. And they're just coming out because like it's too hot and muggy and they gotta chill, they gotta cool down. So yeah,
amazing.
come this way.
And your strap, do you keep that on all the time?
No.
Or?
But this is the front right here, and we don't want to spend too much time here. That's the entrance right there.
And you were talking about on one of the videos, you can control the size of the entrance?
Yeah, there's this little wooden cleat that you can put in there.
That just reduces it this way.
Yep. So it
So
just,
it doesn't make it more narrow, it
No.
just comes
it
in.
reduces the size that way.
Okay.
And it actually does make it narrower.
Okay.
So you start out with a 1-inch gap, and that helps the hive. You put that in when it's cold and also when they're new, because the queen that you get from your supplier isn't connected with these bees, and so they need to be forced to hang out and get used to her pheromones to accept her. And so the entrance reducer helps do that, and it also helps keep it warmer when it's cold. But as it gets as they get more healthy and more of them.
So you're going to put nectar in here.
Yep.
How do they access that? Oh, so they can come in through underneath it?
Yeah. So this little thing fits in under there, and they can now crawl in here, up underneath the lid.
Does
And
that just drip? Or do
no,
they have
it
to
doesn't
go
drip.
to-
It doesn't even drip at all. They actually have to stick their tongues up into it. So here, we'll just take this. Woo! Let's give it. It's always.
Wow, that's a party in there.
It's definitely alcoholic after a week. We'll just.
And what is the nectar? You make the nectar?
I make the nectar. It's just
Sugar and
It's just sugar and water, 1-to-1 by weight,
uh-huh.
and then there's a little probiotic
Which gives it that color?
which gives it the color, and it helps their digestive system and all that stuff. Helps them stay healthy. So it just screws back on
And how often do you fill that out?
once a week.
So just when you check the hive.
Yep,
So really this is a once a week.
it's a once a week thing.
Project.
Yeah. And then the last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pull out this bottom board and just look at this, because this can also give you an indication.
Yeah, you said you're looking for mites here. Where would you?
Dead mites, they just look like little spiders, little round spiders.
Now, and you do this like in the evening. Is there a specific time you should or shouldn't do your work with the hive?
Yeah, you don't want to do it when they're all home. So you want to do it
Like so early in the morning would be a
not
bad
good,
idea.
because if there's, then you have tens of thousands of bees in there.
Yeah,
And
how many do you think? What percentage of the hive is out right now?
I have no idea. It's
But
good
a
question.
big chunk of them
But
are off
a good
working.
chunk of them are off collecting, and so you have less chance of getting stung, less chance of bad things
So
happening.
middle of the day to
Yeah,
early
early evening. They're good. So
Goodness, what an amazing thing.
that's that one.
That's amazing.
We're done. Okay, so I realized I forgot to put the third hive body on because we've got 7 frames of drawn comb. So I've got to get this third hive body on so that they have enough room. But Nels is going to hold a frame. So here, let's grab the tool. Grab that tool.
Okay.
And you just put it in there and kind of twist it.
Okay. Like so.
And then put it there. Reach in.
Now you don't use gloves.
No, because it's easier to feel.
Wow.
So here.
So that was totally flat before, or is
Yeah. No, it
It's
has,
got the pattern.
it has that
Okay.
honeycomb. So let's just put this here. And now pull out the second one, and you'll see it starts getting heavy. When they have honey and stuff on it,
Oh yeah, it's noticeably.
it's
heavier.
noticeably heavier.
It's just crazy. Okay.
So when they're full, this third hive body that I'm going to put in could conceivably weigh upwards of 100 pounds
Holy
of honey
smokes.
if it's totally full of honey. So what we're going to do now, this is a new thing that I have not ever put on. So this is called a queen excluder. And
So she doesn't. If she can't get up there, she won't lay brood up in the third box.
exactly. So this is big enough for the worker bees to get through this grate, but not the queen.
And you can also cool cookies on that, right?
Yes, exactly. Honey cookies.
Is this used? I mean, it looks like it's been.
I found there's an older gentleman that I got to know. He lives down the street about 2 miles. And because of health, he can't keep bees anymore. So I bought a bunch of equipment off of him. He gave me just
Okay,
great
that's
deals.
brilliant. Because I was wondering why won't she lay brood up here, but it's because she can't go
She
up
can't
there.
get up. So this will go
Can
on top.
drone bees get up there? Or no?
Nope, just the workers.
Just the honey production team.
Let's get this put together.
So how many hours a week do you think you spend on bees?
Oh, about half an hour to 45 minutes.
That's just amazing.
So far, I mean, when it
So
comes...
it's pretty manageable. It's not like you're out here every day.
No, I do like coming out and just watching them.
Sure.
That's.
But you don't open it up
No.
on a daily basis.
No, you only open it up once a week because every time you open it up, you basically
You're
set.
stressing the colony.
You're stressing it out, and they stop. You lose basically a day's worth of production. But you do want to check them out, make sure that they're healthy, and make sure they have enough room. So that's cool.
There it is. You're all
There it is. The full
complete.
hive is ready to go.
And right now the bees are going, oh crap,
Oh.
there's more?
More?
Oh, man. This job never ends.
So yeah. So that is going to become hopefully
Yay!